Miau und willkommen zurück zu Virtue's Last Reward und ja, jetzt können wir den Raum verlassen, denn wir haben den Schlüssel und ich glaube, wir kommen hier entweder zu Quarks oder TENMYOUJI's Ending, auch wenn ich eher glaube, dass es das von TENMYOUJI sein wird, weil wir dieses Foto auch unter anderem hatten. The door lock, it says lock right now. You guys ready? Yeah! Go for it! Alright. 3, 2, 1. Okay. You found it. Das Foto lässt du jetzt hier, oder wie? Das lässt du jetzt hier, wolltest du das nicht mitnehmen? Okay. Jedenfalls haben wir es hier wieder durch eine Chromatic Door geschafft, durch eine von den Weißen. Und diesmal müssten wesentlich mehr Leute das überlebt haben.
No! Damn it!
What's wrong?
I left something in the director's
Ja,
office.
das Foto.
What was it?
The picture. Ugh, how could I forget it?
Oh yeah, we must have set it down after using the face recognition thing.
Yeah, I'm going back. You two go on ahead to the warehouse.
I want to come with you.
Me too.
Nah, that's fine. Why don't you head back to the warehouse?
Aber dann sehen wir dich nicht wieder, weil Dio dich umbringt oder so.
The others are probably already waiting.
Alright. I'll see you two later then.
Right.
Bye, Mr. Sigma.
Okay. Nur die beiden gehen also. Ich hoffe, ich sehe sie noch wieder. Und sie laufen nicht in Dio rein oder so. I watched them jog off toward the blue door. And then they were gone. Guess I should be getting back then. Okay. Gut. Bing, ja, Bing. Sind die anderen schon da? Oder bin ich der Erste? Oder schaffen die es eventuell nicht mehr zurück? Bevor das AB-Game startet. Auch wenn das dämlich wäre. Weil sie ja im Prinzip nur gehen müssen. Sie haben ja nicht viel großartig was zu tun. I stepped into the warehouse to find all the other teams already there. Kay and Luna, Fi and Clover, and Dio. The moment Dio spotted me, he dashed over to the rightmost AB room and slid his card through the reader. Warum? Warum, Dio? Warum?
An ambidex gate has been opened.
Ihr solltet Dio einfach niemals irgendwie diese Karte in die Hand geben.
45 minutes remain until ambidex game polling closes.
As he turned to look at me, I swore I saw a flash of smug grin.
There. Happy? This time I waited for you to get back before I opened it. You see? I can be considerate.
Ja, aber was ist mit TENMYOUJI und Quark? But TENMYOUJI and Quark aren't here.
Yeah, where are they?
I guess they forgot something back in the room we found. They ran back and to grab it really quick.
And they'll be here in a few minutes. No big deal.
Ja, oder unterwegs ist was passiert. Wer weiß das schon? Hier in dem Spiel kann ja alles passieren. While we waited, we exchanged information about the rooms we'd investigated. Unfortunately, none of it seemed very useful. None of us had found anything, and we were no closer to unraveling any of the increasing number of mysteries we were faced with. With that discussion exhausted, we sat down to wait. Ich find's immer noch, ich verstehe immer noch nicht, wofür dieses ganze Nonary-Game sein soll. Den Sinn verstehe ich einfach noch nicht. Weil wenn es wirklich darum ginge, die Welt zu retten, dann bräuchte man sie ja hier drinnen nicht extra mit dem Virus infizieren. Habe ich recht? Und sie kommen nicht wieder, wie ich es mir gedacht habe. Before long, 20 minutes had passed since Dio opened the door and TENMYOUJI and Quark were nowhere in sight.
Don't you think they're taking a little long?
Ja.
Yes, I'm getting worried. What if something happened to them?
I'll go have a look.
Then I shall accompany you.
Nah, I'll be fine by myself. It's not that far away.
Just don't look into the abyss too long, or you might become a monster.
Habe ich das nicht irgendwo schon mal gehört? Wenn du zu lange in den Abgrund starrst, starrt der Abgrund irgendwann zurück. That's... I don't think... Okay. Look, I'm just going to the director's office. I'll be right back. No big deal. Right. See you guys later. I gave a quick goodbye, wave and stepped out of the warehouse. Wo habe ich den Satz denn schon mal gehört? If you keep looking in the abyss stares back oder irgendwie sowas. Irgendwo habe ich das schon mal gehört. Floor B. Director's Office. Voll der unnötig lange Weg. Und jetzt sind die tot. Oder einer von beiden ist tot. Director's Office. Oder das Bild ist nicht mehr da. Oder die sind auch nicht hier. Nein, sieht aus, als ob sie hier nicht sind. Huh? That's odd. There's nobody here. The picture's gone, though. TENMYOUJI and Quark must have been here, then. I laid out the floor B map. They must have taken the door that faces the warehouse. After that, they probably went through the warehouse and out the blue door to the elevator. Yeah, that's a much shorter route. On the other hand, I came through the red door, which is kind of the long way around. Huh. Was denn? Looks like we managed to miss each other perfectly. Well, this was a huge waste of time. Shoot, might as well head back, I suppose. Ich glaube nicht, dass sie da lang gegangen sind. I'd packed up the map and was headed towards the door when... Huh? There was a light on where there hadn't been a light before. What? Why is that thing on? We messed with it earlier, but nothing seemed to work. I felt a sudden wave of inexplicable, nauseating dread. The light stared at me. I swallowed and edged cautiously toward it. Was ist das? The machine was in arm's reach now. I stretched my hand out toward it slowly.
So, you finally made it.
No, you're...
I am Zero.
Okay. Das ist Kays Vater und von den Gesichtszügen her sieht er auch schon echt genauso aus wie Sigma.
I was the one who brought you here. You undoubtedly have as many questions for me as there are stars in the sky. As you can see, however, this is only a recording. I will therefore be unable to directly answer any questions. Ask if you wish, but I cannot respond.
I considered taking a swing at him, but I decided that was spectacular futile and kept my balled fist at my side.
Now, where to begin? There are many things I wish to tell you, but unfortunately, our time is limited. As such, the information I can provide is also limited. I have chosen two things of great importance to tell you.
Und zwar...
First, I will tell you about termites.
Warum Termiten? Was ist jetzt mit Termiten so? Die sind nur in dieser in diesem Zeitstrahl irgendwie wichtig und sonst waren die bisher nie irgendwo erwähnt.
In retrospect, I suppose that's a rather odd thing to say. I imagine you look rather bewildered right now. Perfectly understandable. The person who kidnapped you and threatened you with death is lecturing you about insects. I suspect it hardly seems fair. Nonetheless, this is very important. In a way, it will determine your fate. So I ask that you listen carefully. Have you ever seen a termite mound?
Nie in real life, nein.
They are splendid structures. Some might even call them works of art.
Ja, und ich glaube, die haben sogar ein eigenes Ventilationssystem oder so.
Termites termites are natural architects, and their mounds are both structurally sound and make excellent use of space. So, are they following some sort of plan as they build? Are there termite blueprints detailing which room goes where? No, of course not. Each termite is simply an oblivious cog in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of termite DNA. It is doubtful an individual termite has any idea what its contributions are helping to create. But a human does. We can appreciate the elegant forms of their alien cathedrals. We can see the simple beauty of their perfect functionality. We can understand the splendid planning of their structure.
Also Termiten machen etwas und machen es sehr gut, verstehen aber überhaupt nicht, was sie machen.
In other words, only an intelligence of a higher order can understand the beauty of what the termite builds. Now, consider humans. Why are we alive? Why do we love and give birth? Why do we create? From where do our cultures spring? There are many theories, but no one knows the truth. We are oblivious cogs in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of human DNA.
Und du meinst, die Schönheit in dem, was wir machen können, auch nur höhere Wesen sehen?
No doubt you see now what this analogy is supposed to illustrate. Yes, I mean to say humans are not different from termites. We trudge through our lives with no greater understanding of our ultimate goal. You might say we don't understand what we're building. Only an intelligence of a higher order than ours can understand what we're doing. Imagine how we might look to such an intelligence.
Ja, vielleicht hat den Sinn unseres Lebens ja irgendeine höhere Spezies erkannt.
We may be building some structure so perfect and elegant, we can't even perceive it. Whatever it is, we've likely been building it on a dimension just above the ones we know since time immemorial.
Aber was hat das mit dem ganzen Dings-Game hier jetzt, oder mit dem ganzen Nonary-Game?
If we are like the termites, then what we've created is almost certainly something of tremendous beauty. And you are about to catch a glimpse of it. Or have you already? Well, that's enough on that subject, I think. Consider what I've said.
Meinst du damit, dass wir höhere Wesen sind? Ja.
Now, let's move on to the second topic. It is somewhat more immediately meaningful to your life, and, in fact, the lives of several billion other people. I realize this is rather sudden, but I have a password for you. It is the password to disarm the bomb, numbered 1.
Aber warum weißt du das Passwort von der Bombe? Naja, du bist Sigma. Und kannst wahrscheinlich auch springen und weißt es deswegen noch. Oder du bist Sigma aus der Zukunft und weißt es noch. Jedenfalls, Passwort Nummer 1. Damit hätten wir dann alle Bombenpasswörter vollständig. Bomb.
Are you ready? I will only say this
Ja.
once, so pay close attention.
Ja.
The password to disarm the number 1 bomb is BQZ, RGJ, DXR.
RGJ DXR. So. Dann habe ich die jetzt alle, die Passwörter. Alle 4. Aber wahrscheinlich muss ich vorher noch auf der anderen Timeline weitermachen, die noch offen ist, weil wir noch nicht wissen, dass es eine Nummer 0 Bombe gibt. I had no idea what he was talking about. What bomb? Was he saying there were bombs too? If he'd guessed at my future confusion, he showed no sign of it.
That is the last of the information this message was meant to convey. Before I go, however, I have a warning. You cannot tell any of your companions what you heard or saw here.
Das heißt, das ist eine Nachricht, die nur speziell für Sigma war.
If you do,
Wait. God damn it, you can't just spout all that crap and disappear. Vielleicht hören wir Sigmas Stimme deswegen nicht, weil wir sonst hören würden, dass es dieselbe Stimme ist wie die von Zero. I found myself yelling at empty air. The hologram had disappeared. What kind of an idiot does he take me for? Termites? Other dimensions? Ja, du springst doch dazwischen her. How could that have anything to do with kidnapping us? Das frage ich mich auch. Shit. I kicked out at a nearby shelf.
10 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Ja, dann jetzt aber mal schnell.
All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will...
Oh crap, I need to get back. Not like there's any point staying here. Das war aber interessant. I spun around and ran out of the room toward the warehouse.
Grandpa! Look! Mr. Sigma's back!
Took you long enough.
Ja, ich habe nach euch gesucht. Sind wir also wirklich einfach aneinander vorbeigelaufen? Where are the others?
In the AB rooms.
They went in already?
Yep.
Why didn't you too? Have you been waiting for me?
Yeah! Grandpa said there was something he had to tell you before we voted, no matter what.
Oh.
Nothing that significant. Just wanted to tell you we're going to choose ally this round. That's it.
And you had to tell me that no matter what. Seems kinda pointless. I mean, words are cheap. You can promise whatever you want.
True, but we've got something to back it up. Just hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Quark and I both have 8 BP.
Ja.
We're already on the home stretch. So what do we need to get to the magic number?
Eigentlich nur einen.
Well, we need you to choose ally. If you do that, it doesn't really matter to us what we pick.
You'd get to 9, whether you got 2 or 3 points.
Exactly. That being the case, we don't have any reason to betray you. And if we both choose ally, we both gain points.
Ja, und ich? True, but you must have considered that I'll choose betray. That would mean you'd choose betray to protect yourselves.
But that's why we're telling you we won't choose betray.
Mm-hmm.
Can I trust you?
Of course.
Alright, tell me one thing. Let's say we do this and both ally. Everybody gets 2 points. That means you and Quark will have enough to leave, which is great for you. But I'll be stuck with a measly 5. How do I know you aren't going to just open the number 9 door and leave us in the lurch?
I can guarantee it.
How?
I can give you my word. I will not open the number 9 door, even if I have enough points to do so. I swear it.
Ja, und Quark?
We aren't going to abandon everybody else just so we can escape.
I swear too.
Okay.
I promise.
Man, so all you've got is a promise, huh?
When I make a promise, I keep it. Trust me.
Please! You've gotta trust us!
Alright, fine. I'll trust you.
2 minutes remain until Ambidex...
Ja, okay.
We're counting on you, Sigma.
You gotta choose ally! You promised!
Okay. With that, they turned and ran into the AB room second from the right. Wenn ich in die Flow gucke, dann sind die Pfade hier beide gleich lang. Ich glaube, ich drücke erstmal vorsichtshalber Betray und beim zweiten Mal Ally. With that, they turned and ran into the AB game second from the right. Well, guess I should get moving. Ich drück Betray. Erstmal. Weil ich glaube, wenn wir Ally drücken, kriegen wir das Ending. Und ich möchte lieber erstmal die nutzlosen Pfade abschließen, bevor ich die Endings kriege.
1 minute remains until Ambidex game polling.
Ja, okay. I had a decision to make. Should I trust Quark and TENMYOUJI? Well, I could believe they were telling the truth and still betray them. That would bring my BP to 6. I'll bet that much closer to 9. I'd be that much closer to 9. And choosing betray would guarantee that they wouldn't try and escape without the rest of us. Betrayal seemed like the safe bet. But...
Please! You've gotta trust us! You've gotta choose ally! You promised!
Habe ich das versprochen? TENMYOUJI, I could betray easily enough, but Quark... What the hell was I going to do?
10 seconds. 9.
Ja komm, ich kann selber zählen.
6. 5.
Oh Mann.
4. 3.
2.
2.
1.
1.
Betray. Vote has been recovered, please wait.
Round 3 of the Ambidex game has been completed. Results will be... Thank
Ja,
you,
bitteschön, ja, komm. Zeig mir einfach die Results. Ich fühle mich ehrlich gesagt schlecht dabei, das zu drücken, aber...
Results,
Komm.
please.
Schaut alle mit drauf. Die haben sich gegenseitig betrayed. Okay, Kay hat Ally gedrückt. Die haben Betray gedrückt. Aha. Guck mal. Von wegen euch vertrauen. Aber warum, was habt ihr davon, dass ihr Betray gedrückt habt? Fi hat natürlich... Ich hätte an Fies Stelle auch Betray gedrückt, weil Dio drückt immer Betray. Aber warum haben Luna und Clover Betray gedrückt? Clover hat jetzt 11 Punkte. Das heißt, Clover kann raus.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly. Please check your bracelet.
Ja. Warte mal, irgendwer von uns hat immer noch nur einen Punkt. Hey, what's the deal?
Quark had nothing to do with it. I entered the vote.
So, why'd you choose Betray?
Couldn't I ask you the same thing? I don't really think this is the time for a fight, though. Look, Clover's over by the door.
What? Oh no. Tja, das war's dann. Das ist dann das Game Over, weil Clover abhaut. Gut. Ein weiteres Game Over, weil Clover abhaut. Hätten wir das irgendwie verhindert, indem wir auf Ally gedrückt haben?
The number 9 door.
Fuck, she opened it.
Why? Clover, wait!
Ja, warum, Clover? Was soll das? Clover, what the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm going to call the others.
What?
I'll get justice for Alice.
Justice? Wait, do you mean... Wen holst du? Wer sind die Others? Meinst du SOIS? SOIS?
The number it will
Ja.
Time for me to go. No! Please, Clover, wait!
Like hell, I'm just gonna let you walk out of here.
Ja, was bringt denn das, wenn sie jetzt wartet? Ich meine, wir kommen trotzdem nicht mehr raus. Dio leapt at Clover, his fists raised. Clover easily avoided him and moved toward the door.
Goodbye.
I caught one last glimpse of her face as she slid through the door. It was a mask of ice. Und da geht die Tür wieder zu. Okay, wir hätten Ally drücken müssen. Habe ich mir auch fast schon gedacht. Und dadurch hätten wir dann ein anderes Ending bekommen.
The number this end. Thank you. As the escape, please.
Ich weiß. Escape is no longer possible. Escape is not a option. Game over. Gut. Mit diesem Game over speichere ich nochmal hier hin. Und dann gehe ich in den AB-Room zurück und drücke auf Ally. Ally. Hat sich das Ergebnis jetzt geändert und haben sie eventuell auch Ally gedrückt? Frage ich mich. Ist ja schon öfter vorgekommen, dass sich irgendwas geändert hat. Ne? Hat Clover jetzt eventuell nicht Betray gedrückt? In dieser Version. Die drücken natürlich Betray, klar. Sie hat trotzdem Betray gedrückt. Tja, okay. Ally war die falsche. Ich bin wieder down to 1 point.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly. Please check your bracelet to see your update.
Ja, Tja, hab ich wieder nur einen Punkt. Hey, what the hell, guys? Why'd you betray me?
Quark had nothing to do with this. I made the vote.
Grandpa.
Alright, fine. Why'd you break your promise, TENMYOUJI?
I only promised you one thing. We wouldn't open the number 9 door, even if we got 9 points.
What? Das stimmt. So you're not going to leave?
Not what I said. Of course we're going to leave.
What?
Look, see Clover over there?
Ja. What? Don't tell me, dass ihr mit der zusammen verschwindet. Also ist das auch ein Game Over? Wofür hatte ich hier einen Log, wenn das nur in Game Overs reinführt?
Oh no.
Jeez.
That bitch!
Wait. Quark and TENMYOUJI have...
The words were barely out of her mouth when TENMYOUJI and Quark ran past.
No! God damn it!
Ja komm, haltet sie auf.
Clover, are you really going to leave? Well, yeah. Why else would I open the door?
But why?
I'm going to go call the others, so we can capture Zero Senior.
TENMYOUJI, are you and Quark going too?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry, everybody.
So Sigma, happy? I kept my promise. Clover opened the door, not me.
Trotzdem ist das Kacke von dir. Like hell I'm happy. That's some shady shit, TENMYOUJI.
You say so. I have to get out of here, and that's that. He's got to pay for what he's done.
He?
Zero.
You mean you know who Zero Senior is?
Yeah. No point keeping it a secret now, I suppose. I know exactly who Zero Senior
Okay.
is.
What?
Dann sag's mir. Sag's mir ins Gesicht.
The number 9 door has been opened. It will read.
Ja.
Let's go. Come on, guys. Time to move.
Right.
Oh, wait! This is for you, Mr. Sigma.
Was? Quark held something out. I looked down to see the 2 pieces of folded paper. What is this?
It's a letter. I wrote it in the director's office before the AB game. I wanted to tell you what kind of guy Grandpa is. So, read it, okay?
Okay. You press it into my hand.
See you later, Mr. Sigma.
Also ist das Quark-Ende? Then he turned and ran toward the door, TENMYOUJI and Clover following in his footsteps. I was so surprised by the letter that I didn't even try to stop them. Before I could think of anything to say.
See you.
Goodbye.
Und jetzt hast du uns doch nicht gesagt, wer Zero ist. Warum nicht? Das wäre wahrscheinlich übel für Sigma ausgegangen, ne? Ich weiß. Das weiß ich alles schon. Ich will den Brief lesen.
Shit! They're gone.
All we can do now is hope they bring help back.
Indeed.
I agree.
Okay. I looked down at Quark's letter and slowly unfolded it. His handwriting was still slightly uneven, but he'd filled both pages with writing. I began to read. It was a really stormy day when he found me. He said the rain was coming down so hard it almost hurt, but somehow he managed to hear a baby crying. I guess I must have been crying pretty loud. He took me home and did his best to raise me, but he'd never been married or had a kid before, so I think it was really hard for him. Okay, also hat TENMYOUJI wahrscheinlich June nie gefunden. He couldn't figure out how to mix the formula, so he was always carrying the directions around with him. Also, I guess I was a pretty picky eater, so if he didn't get the water to formula ratio just right, I wouldn't eat it. I guess I was kind of a pain, huh? But he didn't give up, and now here I am. When he found me, I was really small, and he was worried that I might not make it. That's why he named me Quark. A quark is a really small thing, and I was really small too. Grandpa didn't need to worry though, because it turned out that I was pretty tough. When I was 1, he forgot I was sleeping in the bed of his truck and drove off. I rolled out and went off the back, but I didn't even get scratched. I started walking when I was 2, and when he wasn't looking, I fell down the stairs. Das ist also scheinbar doch das Quark-Ending. I didn't get hurt then either. When I was 3, I got really sick. I had a super high fever for a week, but eventually I got better. I guess you could say I'm pretty lucky. Anyway, I didn't really have any more accidents after that, and I was a pretty healthy kid. By the time I was 6, I had started helping Grandpa out with his work. His job was to gather junk from abandoned buildings. Then he'd fix it up or pull out the useful parts and sell them. There were plenty of abandoned buildings, but finding good stuff in them was hard. You had to know which parts were useful, or you could end up wasting a bunch of time. Every time I'd find something, he'd explain to me what it was, how it was supposed to work, how to fix it, all sort of things. Usually though, I just wanted to finish up work so I could go to the theater. The theater came to our town once a week in a wagon. They'd show old news or movies. I went every single week, but Grandpa only went once in a while, and he'd only go weeks when they showed movies. Ja, wer will schon alte Nachrichten sehen? Oh yeah, I didn't know that I had been adopted until I was 7. One of the other kids on my block told me. I guess after Grandpa found me, he looked all over town to try and find somebody who'd take me. The kid from my block actually had a mom, and he'd asked her if she would take me too. I gotta admit I was pretty shocked when I heard that. There weren't a lot of kids with parents around, so hearing that someone lived with his actual mom was pretty impressive. I was also kind of surprised that Grandpa had tried to get someone else to take me. Did that mean he didn't want me? Ich glaube einfach, hat sich selbst nicht zugetraut, dich richtig groß zu ziehen. The kid who told me about Grandpa trying to get rid of me was a real jerk. He was totally spoiled and he'd brag to everybody about how he had a mom. He liked to come up with them to me while I was working and say stuff like, "Must be hard not having a mother." It had never bothered me before, but after I found out that Grandpa had adopted me, I started to think that maybe he didn't really want me. If I could work on my own, then he could get rid of me. I was scared to know the truth, so I never asked him. Then one day, he took me to a bar in our neighborhood. During the day, of course. He went there sometimes to drink scotch, but I'd never gone before. When we got in, he just walked up to the counter with that grumpy look he has, and I thought, oh no, he's gonna make me work here. But I was wrong. I saw him pass something to the bartender, and then he picked me up and sat me down on a stool next to the counter. The stool was pretty high, especially for a 7-year-old kid, and my legs just dangled off of it. It seemed really high to me, and I was pretty nervous. Eventually the bartender came back over with a glass of scotch and another big glass full of something else. Das ist Root Beer mit Eis, ne? Mit Vanilleeis. Wie hieß das nochmal? Root Float oder sowas? As I looked closer, I realized that the second glass was full of some sort of brown liquid with a scoop of ice cream in it. It took me a minute to realize what it was. A root beer float, genau. I'd never seen one before. I was so surprised. Root beer was even more expensive than the nicest alcohol in the bar. To me and the other kids, it seemed more like an urban legend than a real drink. But there it was, right in front of me. I stared at the float. I still wasn't sure it was real at that point, and then turned to look at Grandpa. Also es scheint wirklich hier alles wie so eine postapokalyptische Welt zu sein, ne? Dass Rootbeer so teuer ist und sowas. He looked back at me. I didn't know what to do, so I turned to the bartender. He'd already turned around and moved off though, so I figured he must have put the glass down in front of me on purpose. It still didn't seem like it could be real, and I was just staring at it with when Grandpa told me to hurry up and drink it before the ice cream melted. His gruff voice sounded like an angel's. Is this really mine? He nodded. Words can't describe how awesome it was. I had never tasted anything like root beer before. The creamy sweetness of the ice cream made my entire head feel light. I felt like the luckiest boy in the whole world. That's not an exaggeration, I really thought that. The root beer float was delicious, but what made me even happier was Grandpa. When I looked over at him, he was smiling. I know that's gotta be hard for you to imagine, but he really was. Right then, I didn't care whether he'd just found me and adopted me or not. He had bought me a root beer float. That made me way luckier than some kid who had a mother but had never tasted root beer. Of course, after we left the bar, he was the first kid I bragged to. Ja, ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob so ein materieller Besitz was Besseres ist als eine Mutter. So Grandpa and I were doing pretty good. Until the fight. I was in a super bad mood that day. I'd torn one of my shoes that morning and some old drunk guy had yelled at me. All the junk I found was totally useless. The day was almost over and I was fed up, so I just grabbed some random trash and took it back to the house. When I showed what I'd found to Grandpa, he frowned. He started going through each thing I'd brought back, explaining why they were all useless. I got really mad and just yelled, "I don't care!" Then he got mad and I couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I was pretty upset and I started thinking that maybe Grandpa had only adopted me so he could raise me to work and make money for him. After a while I went and hid in an abandoned building, but by then I'd started to calm down and think that maybe I should go back and apologize. Ja, ich meine, nachdem dir sowas unglaublich Teures gekauft hat, denkst du, dass dich nur zum Arbeiten da hat? It had started raining pretty hard, though, so I decided I should wait for it to stop. But that was just an excuse. The truth was, I was nervous. Part of me knew I'd done something wrong, but I didn't want to admit it. The rain didn't stop, though, so I just sat there staring out at the gloomy gray sky. I imagined Grandpa coming to get me. It kept raining all night, and he never showed up. I gave up waiting and decided it was time to go home. I was about halfway there when I heard somebody groaning. At first I thought I should just ignore it and not get involved, but I went over anyway and it was Grandpa. He was totally soaked and I could tell right away that he had been there for a really long time. I yelled and he opened his eyes a little bit. He smiled weakly and said he was glad I was safe. He'd spent all night out in the rain looking for me. I felt awful. Grandpa had been out in the rain looking for me so long that he'd collapsed. I was horrible. He'd heard me crying in the rain, but I hadn't heard him. As I ran to get the doctor, I promised whatever God might be listening that if they would only save Grandpa, I'd never ask for another root beer float ever again. Der Doktor? Ist das zufällig Sigmar? Ich meine, Luna hat ihn ja auch Doktor genannt. He got a real bad fever and this temperature won't go down for days. The doctor said if it kept up he'd die. If he died, then I'd be all alone. There wouldn't be anybody left to care about me. The thought of that happening terrified me. Fortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to my grandpa, because a week later his fever finally broke. I was glad he wasn't going to die, but I was also a little scared. What if he had decided he didn't want a stupid kid like me around anymore? My plan was to apologize as soon as he woke up, but when the moment came, my brain just stopped. Grandpa started to talk and it took me a minute to realize he was apologizing. I didn't know what to think. Das Bild, das ist aber aus diesem Zeitstrang hier, ne? Das ist nicht aus deiner Vergangenheit. He explained that he was an old man and that meant he was probably going to die sooner rather than later. He was strict with me because he wanted to make sure I'd be able to make it on my own after he was gone, but maybe he'd been a little too strict. All of the things I'd worried about had been stupid and selfish. Grandpa cared about me a whole lot. He'd been worried when I ran off and he'd gone out into the rain to look for me. I tried to apologize, but when I opened my mouth, I just started crying. I don't think I've cried that much since I was a baby, but he just smiled and patted my head. I asked him if he'd ever regretted adopting me. His eyes got all wide and he said, "Of course not." He told me that he was looking for a really important lady, and because of that, he'd had to give up on pretty much everything else in his life. But when he took me in and started raising me, he felt like he'd gotten some of what he lost back. Das heißt, hat June scheinbar nie gefunden. That was when I decided I'd stay with him forever, even if he said I couldn't. Hat June also nie gefunden. Gut, und das war dann das Quark-Ende, glaube ich, ne? Ne, das war das TENMYOUJI-Ende, okay. Das war doch das TENMYOUJI-Ending. Okay. Interessant. Gut, dann werden wir beim nächsten Mal an der Stelle hier weitermachen, würde ich sagen. 5 Minutes of Life. Weil wir jetzt mit der Aluminiumfolie das wissen. Und dann denke ich mal, dass wir hier das Quark-Ending bekommen. Und die Bombencodes wissen wir jetzt auch alle. Das heißt, wir können dann hier das Vieh-Ende bekommen. Ja. Und ich würde sagen, wir sehen uns dann beim nächsten Mal wieder an dieser Stelle. Bis dann, Leute. Ciao.